Most people are average.
Yep.
That's why it's called average.
Actually, I don't think most people are average. I think most people are acting average.
I think most people never tap into their total potential, right?
And a lot of people. So we all have an average, and our average controls us. So our average sucks is not, I'm better than you, beat my chest, like I'm rich, you're not. No. Average sucks is the feeling that you get where you realize what I'm doing is now my average, and I'm not satisfied with it. I think most people stop short of what they're capable of, not because they're weak, it's because they don't know how to get out of the box they're currently in. So my obsession is taking people, showing them what they're doing is good, but they could be extraordinary.
Welcome to another episode of Influence Unlocked. I'm Cheri, and I'm so excited to be here with the one and only Michael Bernoff in the house.
I am thrilled to be here. I like that intro.
Yeah, I mean, I get psyched up when I see your shirt, Average Sucks. So let's jump into it, Mike, because we've been friends for a very long time.
Yep.
I love your book. I love the tagline, Average Sucks, because it does.
Yes.
And we're all about helping champions win all the way at the top. So tell our audience where you got started. Like, how did you even become Michael Bernoff?
What do you want, like conception, or like, what are we doing?
Well, that's too far back.
Okay, we're not going that far back. So you're saying, how did I go
How did you get started as an entrepreneur that's now like crushing it?
Yeah, so this is where it all began. I always go to like that pivotal moment where things started to change. And this is a good story. So a lot of things happen through screw ups, right? So I grew up a very middle-class kid in New Jersey. That's where I talk fast. I'm going to work to talk slow for online here right now. And I grew up very down the middle, never really pushed the envelope, never did anything like too crazy as a kid. I'd always watch these people that were successful and they did these things. And my parents always said, those are hardworking people that probably have businesses, but mom's a teacher, dad's an engineer. So I thought maybe I'd become an entrepreneur one day. And this is the interesting way this happened. So I have ADD. Do you have ADD?
I think most actions have a form of it, yes.
I call it, so I went like from that generation of the ADD generation, and my parents hired a guidance counselor, and they said, we're going to find the perfect school for you to go to for college. And I paid like $3,000, and I was supposed to go to this one school that was going to make my life easier for me. And the lady screwed up. So instead of sending me to the University of Arizona, she sent me to Arizona State, which is the largest party school in the world.
Perfect.
Perfect. So hyper ADD guy with big dreams, Arizona State. So what happened is when I went there, I had a guy come to me, this guy named Ryan Wood came to me and shared with me about a little something called direct sales. And they're selling phone cards back in the day. And I thought it was amazing. I got in, I could talk to people, and I worked that business so hard for 1 week. And then it didn't really do what it was supposed to do. I gave up and didn't do very well in school for a couple of years. And this is when my life really transformed. I failed out of ASU after a couple of years, and I wound up going to Mesa Community College, where you could take real classes. So at ASU, fake professors. At Mesa Community College, at a third of the price or quarter of the price, there were actual business owners. And one of the assignments was to read books. And there was a list of books that you could read about business. And 19-year-old boy, one of the books, How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Yeah.
And I never knew from that day that you could learn yourself better. And when I finally got back into direct sales, within about a year later, I realized, wait a second, there's a whole world of bettering yourself, completely different than this education. So what really transformed me was at a young age, not having the things that I wanted and having big dreams, but somebody coming into my life. And it was Jim Rohn that actually, one of the guys that transformed my life, when Jim came into my life when I was about 21, and it really got me to understand that you don't have to live the life you currently have if you're willing to learn how to do two things: talk differently and think differently. And it was those moments that didn't make it easy, but that's where it began. And that is where my journey began about 23 years old. And this is what I've been doing my entire life. And I'm 48 right now.
That's awesome. I mean, what a classic book, How to Win Friends and Influence People.
I don't know if I even read it, but I like the title. No, I did read it. I'm just joking, but the title was good.
So the show's called Influence Unlocked. What would you say is the secret to influence?
This will contradict potentially most people's thinking. It's how you communicate with yourself about yourself to others, because I would say most influence has a lot to do with how I get you to think I am, and how I talk to myself about myself is how I respond to me, and how I communicate with you about who I am is what box or frame that you put me in. So all the other verbal stuff, the cues, all that's great, but the ability to influence myself to show up in a way that you need me to is whether you're going to give me the respect, respond to me, buy from me, do the things we need. So that's my take. Add that to the B.A.N.K system and we hit a home run.
Boom.
Right off the bat.
Yes. So
we almost had that complete. It's like that picture. Is it Leonardo da Vinci? Was that with the finger? Like, I don't know who that is. It's
or
like
E.T.
almost that. Well, almost E.T. Almost E.T. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you're so fun. I feel your energy coming out. Like, so let's crack your code.
Yep.
All right. I handed you a set of cards here coming in. Can
I mix them?
Yeah, mix them up. And this is how we really crack codes. So I created the system back in the day when when sales training said go for no. You remember those days? They still say it, right? In order to get more yeses, you have to get more nos. And I'm like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Because is there
top to bottom
a secret to getting a yes? And for me, I found it was cracking the code. So we're gonna crack Michael Bernoff's code right now. And obviously the obvious one, and most people who have some form of ADD, starts with action. But what do you think is next, guys? If you're following me on YouTube or whatever, add it in the comments.
They've already watched me for a couple minutes. What do you think's next?
Yeah. So behind the action, and I call the first part of your code is the power code. This is the one where you're like totally dominant. You can crush it. You're a guy that makes big things happen. You only think big. You win big. Go big or go home. Is that pretty much your philosophy?
Yep. But
then the question, a lot of people, they think they know someone by just guessing the first part of them, right? Like, oh yeah, I got Michael sized up.
Maybe 25% of me.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And that's the point, right? Is what's behind this is now the passion code, which is, in this case, blueprint. And maybe a lot of people wouldn't have known that about you unless they go a lot deeper. But the blueprint is the framework. That's the one that says, all right, look, it's all super fun. And once I see that can be a big project, now you actually want to frame out the project. You want to plan it. You want to project. You want to budget. You want to dot the I's and cross the T's. Is that what you would say is your next one?
I would say that what's important for me is actually like laying out, starting to put the pieces together, not the full project, but that would be a piece of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as soon as I come up with, here's what I'm going to do, I start writing down 4 or 5 things and I start putting the action into play.
Yeah, exactly. So you start building the process.
Yep.
Then next, under the third part of the code, we call the pressure code, which for us means under stress, you start to get really analytical. You want to research, you want to do a deep dive, you want to understand basically, and you want to solve the puzzle, build the strategy. Do you feel like that's pretty much how you operate?
I don't know if I put that under pressure exactly, but what I would say is I do go to the books and I start to learn and I start to figure it out. I usually take action at the same time, but I do go to my knowledge base or a new knowledge base. Yeah. I would say that's correct.
Okay, cool. And then the last part of your code, sometimes we call it the poison code, which is like a turn off, like that part of you turns it off. And not always, and I can explain the exception, but you don't lead with a ooey gooey mushy, come and hug me and let's sing Kumbaya together.
I don't like that, no.
No, you don't like that.
I don't do that.
Do you let anybody into your inner circle?
Of course. So and the older I get, I have many circles and I'm very connected to the people I'm connected with, but I am a firm believer, like I have a tight group and I'm very particular, very protective of my time. Like Jim used to say, stand guard at the door of your mind. I'm very careful who I let in, and especially on game day.
Yep.
And what I mean by that is when I have somewhere to be or something to do, I'm very careful about that.
Yeah, because you're strategic.
A lot of game days. Yeah.
Like this is what's cool about the whole code. So for me, the code just gives me immediate insight and it allows me to calibrate exactly how I interact with you. I understand you like that once I know the code sequence.
Yes.
You've been doing it your whole life without this code sequence.
It's a lot harder without that.
You created your own version. So you run the Human Communication Institute.
Yep.
Tell us more about what you do and how you help to optimize your clients.
Yeah, so we do. First off, thank you for taking the time to create this because this is so important. It's a brainchild of yours and it's absolutely necessary. The world needs this. So anyone out there that is new to sales or been around a while should have at least several of these. One at home, one in the car.
Yeah.
One at home, everywhere. One in the car. One for the relationships for date night. Like I'm screwing this thing up.
Yes.
Right? The big process that we do, I got started in neurolinguistics years ago. So my background is in psychotherapy, hypnotic language patterns, what makes people do the things they do and how words affect our nervous system. So I deal with everything from really traumatic stuff, like after the second shooting at Columbine, helping the kids with PTSD. So a lot of times people think influence is just going out there and getting someone to buy something or getting someone to like you. Influence is also how we deal with the thoughts the feelings, the emotions, the pictures, the sounds inside of our own minds. So I got a call back a couple of years ago. I talk about this a little bit because people know this guy. A good friend of mine asked me to go up to Calabasas to work with a guy named Jake Paul. And before he got into boxing, before he met this great girl from Holland, right? And went out there and doing the things he's doing now, but he was having some girl issues. And he called me up and I went up there, and not going to get into that, and was talking to him about that. When you have a thought in your head that you can't deal with, you cannot influence other people if you can't influence yourself. So we do a lot of work on personal influence, and also a lot of work on reframing how words affect people's reaction, because most people don't realize that each word we speak has the ability to change the biochemistry of another person's mind. So the same study that Netflix does, that Facebook does, that you name it. I mean, it's funny, I was speaking at an event. Do you know what Chase Hughes is? He does PSYOPs for the government. He was just on Joe Rogan, and we spoke at an event recently. He took 3 pages of notes. I'm like, the PSYOP CIA guy's taking notes on me, because I've studied that certain words evoke one of the 4 major chemicals inside of the mind. And when you can get that biochemistry correct, somebody will allow you to enter into their, what you called safe space, which is the same thing that Instagram, Facebook, Meta are spending billions of dollars to do. We can all do as well. I can go deeper on that, but
I mean, and this is actually, like, we could do a show for hours, and I'd love to actually have these conversations, because what I did accidentally was figure out a code. And I guess what's really happening on my side, because I haven't studied it from your pathway, is when you speak someone's code, like in the order of those values, why I say crack the code, like the in the Da Vinci Code, the cryptex, right? If you get the code correct, you'll open it up and get access to the Holy Grail, which is whatever outcome you want with that person, versus if you don't, you crack the vial of vinegar and you're going to ruin that whole possibility. So what you're saying is, with all the chemicals and the neuro parts of the brain, when I'm speaking someone's code, I'm hitting those chemicals, and I'm doing it through the lens of the code, and you're doing it through the lens of the chemicals and the words that impact it, right?
Yeah. So there's this isn't about the chemicals, but we all have defense mechanisms for very particular reasons. I mean, we've been hurt before, our biology has been harmed. We've got these things that go on in our minds. So we all know that there's different types of people. You have it here on the code, but what I realized is what's crazy is by just saying a single word and pausing, instantaneously someone's defenses go down. So I'm going to show you something crazy. Yeah. You can borrow it from here, and anyone listening can borrow this, is if you were to say, you're probably asking yourself why we're here. Now, the second you say why, instantly somebody triggers and go, I'm about to learn something. You do not need to answer it. What's more important is not why you're here, what we're actually going to do while we're here. Because how we've been getting results for clients, see, the second you say the words simply, why, what, and how, instantaneously the mind goes, okay, I'm about to get what I need, pay attention now. So you get somebody to actually pay attention. So it's not just about selling something, kind of get their attention, but this is the trick. As soon as you say, so that's all great, but what if what I was about to share has the opportunity to blank? Now, I don't know what we're going to fill in the blanks with that, but the second you say that word, why, you've got about a 10 or 30 second window that somebody's mind is open to hearing what you have to say. The second you switch to what, you go to a different part of the brain. Then when you go to how, you've actually overloaded the nervous system, so it's completely shut down all the defenses. So you'll see this in movies, you'll see this in Hollywood. So attach the bank system to that, and you've got beyond a home run.
Well, let's do it. So for example, when you say why in our code, that's triggering the knowledge that now wants to learn, understand, solve.
So what if we don't even give it to them? What if we just said the word? You probably want to know why we decided to show up here today. And you might even asking yourself why. The second you say the word, you will watch the eyes move, and they start to go, and they look up to the right, not to the left. And the reason they do that is because think they're about to learn something new. And anytime somebody thinks they're about to learn something new, they start paying attention. Spot on.
Yeah.
Where's the what?
The what would be
like the knowledge. The why is the knowledge. The what is going to be like the actual details. That's the blue.
Yeah, the blueprint.
Bingo.
Yeah.
And the how is the action. And the what if is that excitement, that scenario, that unknown, the visionary.
With a little bit of nurturing from the sense of possibility.
Bingo.
Right? Like
Bingo.
purpose, divine.
So even if you get this wrong with people,
yeah,
you're still opening somebody up.
That's right.
Which is wonderful. You get it right, you hit a home run.
That's right. So talk to us about average sex. Like, how do you go? Because most people are average. That's why it's called average.
Actually, I don't think most people are average. I think most people are acting average.
Okay.
So let's get
I
really,
agree.
really clear.
I think most people never tap into their total potential, right?
And a lot of people. So the reason I wrote Average Sucks, and I got the license plate. People stop me all the time and they're like, hey, great book, Average. Like, oh no, there's like great license plate. I'm like, do you know what it means? To like the guy in the Lamborghini. And he's like, I'm like, you're average. And he goes, what do you mean? We all have an average and our average controls us. So our average sucks is not, I'm better than you, beat my chest, like I'm rich, you're not. No. Average sucks is the feeling that you get where you realize what I'm doing is now my average and I'm not satisfied with it. And most people, our goal in life is to get certainty, is to get those 4 cards, to run an order for ourselves, to get a level of certainty where I have enough money, I'm just doing good. And that becomes your new average. And we are designed to use ourselves completely. Like I always say, my tombstone's picked out. It's all used up, nothing left. That's my tombstone. Like that's what I want. Nothing left, not father, not husband, all used up, nothing left, Michael Bernoff, right? And the reason I say that is because I think most people stop short of what they're capable of, not because they're weak, it's because they don't know how to get out of the box they're currently in. So my obsession is taking people, showing them what they're doing is good, but they could be extraordinary.
I love it. And let's put it in real life. So you met me many years ago. Mm-hmm. You saw me become a top producer in a company.
Yep.
Okay.
You top producer, small terms. There was top and then there was a few of you. And it was that small little group up top. And it was beautiful to see. I watched it go like a fast elevator.
Well, do you know what my secret was?
What?
This. I was using B.A.N.K in every conversation, every presentation. I'll never forget 2006, January. I said, this is the year I want to break $1 million. I'd never done it before. It felt like the Roger Bannister impossible, but I said, I'm going to do it. At the end of January, I had earned $8,000 in commissions. Okay. So to make $1 million, you know, it's $83,333 a month. Okay. I made $8,000. So I was at 10%. It's very below average. And I thought
10% for the month, 1% for the year.
Oh my gosh. And so it started to feel overwhelming, but I put together a training of all my reps in the area. 200 people came together, and for 2 days I trained them on the B.A.N.K system. And I announced, I said, so I started doing the math. To make $1 million in a year, you got to make $250,000 a quarter. Well, I totally missed January. I got to stack on another $83,000 for February, plus what I missed in January. It's like $150,000 I needed to make up. And I said, you know what? What the hell? I'm going to go for $250,000 next month. Well, this is how you know I'm not knowledge first, because February only had 28 days. Mm-hmm. So in 28 days, I needed to pull off making $250,000. I made $8,000. People are like, Cheri, don't announce it. You're going to make a fool of yourself. It's never going to happen. You're going to have to sandbag yourselves for 6 months to try to hit that threshold. I said, nope, I'm going for it. I'm training my whole team on the B.A.N.K system. On your mark, get set, go, bang. And wouldn't you know, at the end of February, 28 days later, my income was $261,000.
Beat it by 11.
I beat it by $11,000 more than the whole January. But here's the lesson and why I wanted to bring up the story. In that moment, I realized what I was capable of and how average, sucky I'd been living prior to that. Is like, oh my God, that was just like 28 days of raw potential coming out where I was just maniacally focused on my goal. And I realized I was capable of so much more than just what I had been doing prior to that. So that was a huge aha moment for me of like,
so that was
wow.
a wake up right there.
Yeah. How much we underperform every day in life.
I don't think we mean to. It's challenging because the reason I wear the shirt all the time, I wear a shirt, license plate, it's on my phone, it's everywhere, it's a reminder. I mean, we live in a society which promotes average, and online, everybody wants to be like somebody else. You want to wear the lip gloss that someone else is wearing. It's like, what's wrong with being full version you? It's like, instead of trying to be, I want to be like them. Like, think about this one thing. So the Olympics were just on, right? And a lot of people go, oh my God, how does he do that? How does she do that? It's the stupidest thing ever to say. Why would you look at Michael Jordan back in the day and go, how does he do that? The better question is, how can I do that?
Yeah.
And very few people language themselves into what they want. So I bet 1,000 people in that company goes, how did she do that back then? And 1 or 2 go, how do I do that? And anybody watching right now, if instead of going, that's really great, how Cheri Tree's got the ability to read people using the bank system. I think it's great that Cheri can do it. But here's the question, how can you do it? And that is what I think you've done, is taken it to not be on you, and how do I hand it to somebody else? Because it's great that you and I can do things. Cute. Good for the ego. But what's good for the world is passing it now on to somebody else.
That's right. How do you duplicate it, clone it, transfer it, and scale it across a whole organization or continent or humanity? How are you doing it with you?
Yeah.
Like, how do people learn your frameworks?
Yeah. The biggest thing, we take a lot of time and get people to realize they can. And it's not a motivation thing. It's most people think they're here and they got a problem and they want to fix their problem. And then other people explain it like we do. You don't have a problem. You're doing great. You could be doing better. So the first thing, that's a completely different shift in perspective. So most marketers go cortisol level. You're screwed up. You got a problem. You're messed up. The economy's coming. If you don't get into AI by tomorrow, you're going to die. If you don't start taking our blue-green algae, you'll be dead by the end of the week. It works. You know what I'm saying? You can get people to buy something. Alternatively, we can shift and go, you're doing really well. You really are. Compared to about 2 billion people on the planet, you're doing great. Would you like to do better? It is a radically different shift in perspective. So that's where we start with people and go, you're doing fine. You don't need me. You're doing fine. But if you do have big dreams and do want more, you could do more. And that is the difference between how we perceive it. You got it, right?
Yep.
It makes the light bulb go on, and it shifts for people and high-level marketers are really learning these days that people do not want the things that they wanted in the old days. They don't want to work as hard. They want direction. So we stopped giving advice and we started giving direction. It's a very big difference.
Yeah, that's very powerful.
Think about that. You're giving if you follow these directions, it'll work. I don't need to give you advice. You don't need any more advice. Advice free, YouTube. Direction.
Yeah, I love it. You know, one of the books that changed my paradigm was Story Brand, right? Instead of trying to be someone's hero, be their guide, give them the direction, let them be the hero. They can execute.
We talked about that on a training I did this morning where I talked about the guide, and I said, even if you sit down with somebody, think of the framework of this. Listen, I could do a presentation right now, or we could have a conversation. Which would you prefer? Think of every single sales call you go on stage. I've said it 1,000 times. I'll probably say it in a couple of days when you see me speak. I'm going to say this. Listen, I can do a keynote or we can have a conversation. What's everybody going to take?
Conversation.
Because what does the hit on the card?
That's
relationships.
Right.
Boom, done. There's not even a card for presentation. Nobody wants that. Nobody really wants a presentation. They want a conversation. So instead of a speaker, think of me as your guide. I want to guide you through a journey and help you out and figure some stuff out. So that is, when you say different words, you reframe how people see you. Because remember, part of influence is, how do I empower this other person to believe in themselves? That's one of my biggest things. I don't want to act like I know everything. I need you to be great. Like, I sit down with people and the first thing I'll say is, obviously you know more about your company than I could ever know about your company. And you're probably going to teach me a lot. So I'm going to learn a lot from you today. Nobody does that.
Mm-hmm.
People like to feel good.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. Where do you go from here? What's your next level?
In what area? Pick. And the reason I say that is I can go any which way.
Business.
Business, we've got a few things. So obviously, you know, we own the Institute in North Scottsdale, which I love. We're looking to, we're expanding a bunch of things right now. We're doing a big rebrand on a few things that we're doing right now. We are spending a lot of time doubling down on YouTube, because of YouTube literally won the last election. Okay. Podcasts and YouTube, which I'm happy you're doing podcasts. So it swung, and it's no different than TV was with Reagan came about. Was that about years? Wasn't Reagan? Years? Yeah, it was Reagan. Yeah. Years ago, we learned about that in school. Mm-hmm. YouTube is the new thing. So we're starting to double down on that. We started doing business with, we've done a lot of business hotels. I'm not a huge fan of hotels. They charge a fortune. So we bought the building years ago. So we started using that as an opportunity to network, connect, and do that. So we're looking to buy additional real estate. That's one of the things we're going to do in different areas. Yeah. That's one of the next big moves that we're making. And on top of that, we're going to really, really take our time to figure out online marketing at a different level, not what's been going on in the past, what's going on actually now. Yeah. So that's a big move for us.
I love it. That's next level. And I'd love to collaborate. I'd like to be like Wonder Twins Activate, because we've got a network of really amazing bank trainers in different communities. And it would be cool to have a location if there was that collaboration
we can figure that out.
Yeah, because you can teach what you're teaching to our audience of code breakers, and then we can layer on the framework of the bank system on top of it to like Yeah.
I don't teach that, and I don't really.
And I don't teach that.
And I don't do much sales training at all.
Yeah.
And you cover sales, and I cover influence at a different level.
Yeah.
So you're covering for the, in a lot of ways, the production of income.
The connection conversion.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm connecting with just influence, which is level of power and a
That's
level of little level of certainty when it comes to communication. So this will be powerful.
Well, I love it. So I'll be on your show.
Yeah.
You're on my show. We're going to do a lot together.
I love it.
Tell our audience how they can connect with you.
There's something called Google, and they can Google my name, Michael Bernoff. They spell it correctly. You can find me. Number 2, find me on Instagram or anything. Instagram, if you do that, you'll track me. You can get my book on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, anything. And if you're serious and you're someone out there, you're like, I really like this guy, I'm going to throw this out there. This is odd for the action takers. Write this down. 480-800-8051. Send me a text with the word influence to 480-800-8051. And that's not me directly. That'll go to my team and let us know what you want to talk about. We can help you. Please get my book, go to Instagram. But if you're like, I like this guy or want to talk, figure out something, you let me know. So I always want to throw that out there. There's different levels of people. They know who they are.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So thank you for being on our show. And this is Influence Unlocked. We're going to do more episodes together.
I love it.
Thank you for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you crack your code. Understand the code of influence through the B.A.N.K framework. Get a hold of Michael's books. Average Sucks. Get the t-shirt. I have the t-shirt. This is an awesome brand. I don't have the plate. Mine's different. My plate says Code Breaker.
I like that. You should, because you can't write off Average Sucks. I can write off Average Sucks.
That's right. So make sure you crack the code, master your influence, and take it to the bank.